It's a modern day miracle.
Go over to the Discord, let everybody know we're actually doing a episode this week.
So 20 minutes ago, it was like sunny with barely a cloud in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a hurricane outside now.
Oh, you got what we got about 3 hours ago. So have fun
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, that was a fun ride home. Yay, living on the Gulf Coast where you have many hurricanes on a daily basis.
It sounds like I'm way louder than you. So I'll turn my volume down a little bit.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check.
Check,
Check.
check,
Oh, there we
check,
go.
audio check.
Yeah, we're
Check,
both
check.
even now, I think.
Okay.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check. Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Alrighty then. Let's have an episode, shall we?
Sure.
And 3. Oop, let me get to the thing here. And 3, 2, 1. Greetings, programs, and we are here finally for this week's episode, which is brought to you by our Patreon super producers, Staff Sergeant Sketch. I am the Rampage, Bethany Fox, and Nick W. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
So Derek's fault this week why we're so late.
Oh, 100%. Yes. So, long story short, we were going to do the episode yesterday on Tuesday, but around lunchtime, my internet went out, and the soonest a technician could come in to fix it would be today. So we pushed it back to today, not 100% knowing if it was going to get fixed or not. But thankfully, the internet was back about half an hour ago. So with the Diamond House rejoices, because let me tell you, not having internet is terrible.
Yep.
Especially when you depend on streaming for everything now.
Yeah, that's why I still like physical media. So if the internet goes out, I have my own Netflix. We have Netflix at home. We don't need Netflix.
Yeah, well, we do have some DVDs, so I thankfully I held on to them. So it wasn't like we were without like stuff to watch, but it still sucks.
Ooh, Nick says there's in the chat room. Nick W says there's a tornado warning going on here in northwestern Illinois. Be safe out there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
I was
bad.
actually just telling Jason before we went on the air. Half an hour ago, it was sunny with barely a cloud in the sky, and now it looks like a hurricane.
Mm-hmm. That's
So,
Gulf Coast living.
yes, sir.
Well, did you do anything interesting this week? I did start playing. I did want to say that I want to go over our schedule coming up in the next. We have a full schedule coming up soon because of
Love it.
with our producers. We have let me see here. So coming up next week, I'll be reviewing Zen Intergalactic Ninja for the NES. Huge thanks to Staff Sergeant Sketch for that. Also coming up for next month's top 5, Nick W. Gave us the idea for top 5 worst controllers. So that's going to be a fun one. So be thinking about that one.
I have a feeling we're going to have a strong disagreement on one of those, and you know what it is.
Yeah. Also, for our July roundtable for the Patreon, we're going to be talking about The Evil Dead with Wicked Kitten of the Gore Podcast. And I will also be reviewing, my upcoming review will be of Lollipop Chainsaw. Thanks to Bethany Fox for that one. And also the August commentary is going to be Hardcore Henry, which was suggested by Bethany Fox, which I haven't seen that, but I'm very interested to see that movie.
Well, we got to throw in my review of Chrono Trigger in there too.
Yeah, that too. I forgot to put that in there.
No, it's in there. It's at the top.
But yeah, I actually started playing Zen Intergalactic Ninja last night. I procured a ROM in a very legal manner because physical copies are way too expensive these days. But Zen Intergalactic Ninja is a good game. I cannot wait to talk about it.
No, I'm excited. I've been playing Chrono Trigger, and it's a really really good
It's
game.
so good.
I can't say anything bad about it.
I think about Chrono Trigger all the time, and I'm like, I wish I had time to play through Chrono Trigger again. I wish they would do a complete remake of Chrono Trigger.
They may one day. I mean,
I mean, not that it needs it, but it would be fun to play a updated version.
yeah, like one of those 2.5D games.
Yeah,
So you still
yeah,
keep kind of the spirit of the original, but
yeah,
give it a little boost.
yeah. That'd be fun. Nick says, "Did you hear that there will be no physical disc of GTA 6?" Not that I'm a huge GTA fan. I did have 5 for the PS4. I only played a few hours of it. I'm just not really that into the GTA games. But games coming out without physical discs now, I don't like this world of digital. I can't even say ownership because you're not even going to really own it. If they decide to pull the plug one day, you just don't have a game anymore. I don't like where the industry is moving.
Why even release a physical box
Yeah,
if that's the case? Just put it on one of those little cards like they have at Best
yeah,
Buy and Walmart and all those places. I will say I'll give myself a little pat on the back, or maybe half a pat, because I did say that GTA 6 would be $100.
hmm
The Ultimate Edition is you can get the standard for 80, but I had zero doubt that with the way the industry is going, it was gonna be $100.
yeah. That's so expensive. Like that, I just can't justify that.
I will be playing the Ocarina of Time remake instead.
Yeah, that's going to be so much better.
Yeah, I mean, props to them. I guess it's going to come out. I'm not going to believe that it will be released until it is actually in stores,
Yeah,
because there's always a chance they'll push it back.
I have a feeling it's going to get pushed back another 6 months probably. But I mean, it's already been pushed back like what 8 times now. It wouldn't surprise me if it gets pushed back one more time.
It's a meme at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
We
I
we,
don't
we
even
got
think
a John Cena heel turn before GTA 6.
it doesn't exist. They just keep pretending that it exists at this point.
I'll enter my 40s before we get GTA 6.
I'll be in my 50s. Oh, but you know what we're talking about tonight, everybody? We are doing top 5 games that revolutionized gaming. And man, this was an interesting one to go through. I don't know how hard it was for you to write yours, but I had a lot I had to whittle down.
So this list is interesting because for the most part we do like top 5 games that we personally like, that we have some kind of nostalgia to. This one I feel like I had to take that emotion out a little bit.
Yeah.
It still plays a factor into it, but there are games that I may not necessarily like or be a huge fan of.
Fury in the chat
But
says GTA 6 is the new Duke Nukem Forever.
basically,
It is.
no, that's very accurate. But yeah, it's this was interesting. Yeah, it wasn't overly difficult because I knew what my number one is, and I think I'll make a strong case for it. But it was interesting going back and thinking of like all the games that you're like, yeah, the industry wouldn't be where it is today if such and such game did not exist.
Yeah, because a lot of these games that I like you said, you had to take some emotion out of it, like the nostalgia of it, and look at them in an objective way of what really did revolutionize gaming, and that's why some of these landed on my honorable mentions. And to start my honorable mentions, I got 5 honorable mentions here. Up first is Pac-Man. I mean, Pac-Man, you can't do a list like this without putting Pac-Man somewhere on it, even on my honorable mentions. Because without Pac-Man, I mean, he was the beginning of the mascot. Like he just
Um,
people still play Pac-Man games to this day. So Pac-Man has to be on a mentioned somewhere.
yeah, no, I have zero issue with that. Yeah, Pac-Man was a very important game back then because you didn't have, like you said, a mascot or really like a notable character,
Yeah.
and Pac-Man brought that into the limelight.
For my second honorable mention, I wanted to put the original Metroid on here, which I love the original Metroid, but I had to put Super Metroid on here because I feel like Super Metroid took what the original Metroid did and just made it better. And also just it was the beginning of the Metroidvania, where it's like a lot of backtracking and exploration and kind of open world 2D side-scrolling open world platformer, upgrade your weapons type of thing. It did it to perfection. So and if it wasn't for Super Metroid, I don't know if there would be such a thing as the Metroidvania, genre.
It might be called Pac-Man Mania.
Yeah,
Who
maybe.
knows? No, in Super Metroid, one thing I will say about it is that it was one of those games back then that you may not think that it was story heavy, but it was actually very compelling.
Yeah.
The original Metroid kind of captured that spirit of the original Alien movies
Yes.
to a T, and Super Metroid built on that even more.
And my third honorable mention is The Seventh Guest. It was one of those games that one of the first PC games, CD-ROM games that I ever played, and I feel like we don't really have a whole lot of point and click type of games these days. I wish we did, but The Seventh Guest just blew up that genre in the 90s for a long time. Like you had games like Myst and the 11th Hour after that. Like it just something about that full motion video and solving puzzles, like that game just had atmosphere. And I feel like a lot of games that came after it, like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, games like that, fed off of that immersiveness that game kind of, that feeling of not really so much scariness, but just moodiness, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And also, at my next one is World of Warcraft. I mean, it's the greatest, MMORPG ever. It's still going 22 years later. So what else can you say? And the bad thing about World of Warcraft is it's so good is it killed the genre because nobody else could touch it. To this day, there has never been really a MMORPG that could come close to it at its height.
Yeah, WoW is basically like a double-edged sword. It revolutionized
Yeah.
the gaming industry and a genre, but also kind of set, like you said, unrealistic expectations of, because other companies have tried.
Mhm.
There was a Matrix MMO, there was a Star Wars MMO,
Yeah.
but none have been able to achieve what WoW has.
And Omni Slick said, Metroid, yes, no other SNES game had that ambience of the Aliens movie. That's 100% true. Like, they should have they could literally just reskin Super Metroid as an alien movie and it would still work. Or not a movie, but a video game. Just take that same game and just give it an aliens, paint job.
Now, once the Metroid movie does happen, it needs to be live action,
Yeah.
and it needs to have that horror element,
Yes.
like Aliens,
Did you ever
and it would be great.
Did you ever watch that Alien TV show that was on Hulu last year? What was the name?
No, but I heard it was actually really good. It was Alien Earth.
Yeah, Alien Earth. I enjoyed it a lot. I can't wait for season 2. You got to watch it. The goat, man, that goat thing was terrifying.
Like an actual goat or the greatest of all time?
No, an actual goat.
Oh,
Lizzie keeps trying to get up here and say hi to everybody. Say hi, Lizzie. Hey, kitty, kitty.
Lizzie, you want to read my list for me?
No. My last honorable mention is, of course, Mario 64, because without it, I don't think they would have figured out how to move into the 3D realm with platforming. Because think about it, who else could take that genre of the 2D platformer and move it into the 3D space and was so successful at it? I don't think anybody else was able to do it.
No. I mean, there's a reason why that game is mentioned a lot when it comes to like most important games of all time. Because I can't really think of any other character that it would have worked that well with.
Yeah. And on to my actual list. At number 5, I have Halo. I mean, so many nights spent, doing the whole, like, what did we call it? Where we linked all the Xbox
LAN parties.
LAN parties, where the LAN parties, man. On that alone made Halo make this list, because I have so many good memories of LAN parties with Halo, and the campaign too. The campaign's so good they just completely redid it, and now it's available on the PlayStation. That's mind bending to me.
It's like when Sega started making games for Nintendo.
Oh, I know.
And you saw Sonic on Nintendo.
Yes, I agree, Omni. Like a dark Metroid movie would be amazing. I would watch that right now.
It has to be that tone. Like, there's no other way to do it. I mean, there is, but not as good. No, I agree with everything you said about Halo. Anytime that like I drink a Mountain Dew or eat Doritos, I picture being at my friend's house on a Friday or Saturday night playing the original Halo.
And the next one, I kind of cheated. I put 2 together because they're basically one big story. But KOTOR 1 and 2. Those games were made the RPG. Like, if it wasn't for those games, we wouldn't have had stuff like Mass Effect and stuff moving forward. Like that kind of turn-based combat almost. I mean, yeah, it was turn-based, but just the story and the world building and just being immersed in that kind of thing. I mean, those games are the reason I played Mass Effect, because I saw Mass Effect, had no idea what it was, on the shelf at Blockbuster, and I looked and I saw BioWare. I was like, oh, these are the people that did the KOTOR game. So that's when I rented Mass Effect, took it home, loved it so much, I took it back to Blockbuster and immediately went to Toys R Us and bought a copy of it. That's how much I loved it. So if it wasn't for KOTOR, that would have never happened. Like, I love KOTOR so much that I just wish that they would hurry up and just do a complete remake of those games.
Yeah, and I'm glad you put KOTOR on your list, because I feel like both games are great. I still feel like they're a little underrated.
Yeah.
You know, they're not like the
about
first
that
games
much.
you think of when you talk about really great RPG type games.
Yeah.
And they should.
And the
because
people
they're
that know, you know? People
Yeah,
that
yeah,
know
yeah.
Talk.
Yeah, I just feel like it's not talked about enough.
I've just never heard a bad thing about those games from anybody.
Well, it's because there's not anything bad about them.
Yeah. And of course, this one kind of goes without saying, Super Mario Brothers. I mean, it changed everything. We went from Atari to I remember the first time ever playing Super Mario Brothers at my friend Joey's house, and was just mind blown at the way that game played. It was so intuitive, and just, we have everything we have now because of Super Mario Brothers.
I think this is one of those games that you know where you were when you either saw it or played it for the first time. I played it at my aunt's house, and I fell in love with like how simplistic it was, but so compelling.
Yeah.
In its own way, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. And up next, number 2, I'm going to say Resident Evil. Now, I don't know, everybody, don't you like Resident Evil 2? Yeah, I do. But the first one, as kind of corny as the first one was, the remake that they did for the GameCube was so good. It still holds up to this day. And if it wasn't for Resident Evil, we wouldn't have the survival horror genre that we've had for the last 30 years. You know, like we wouldn't have Silent Hill, we wouldn't have Alan Wake and games like that, because Resident Evil is still one of the best at it. I mean, they just put out Part 9, and we have a remake of Code Veronica coming as well. So Capcom is killing it with the Resident Evil franchise.
I still think that first zombie that you see in the game, one of the best villains of all time.
Oh, one of the greatest.
Because one of the best scares.
Oh man, do you remember playing that for the first time and seeing that for the first time?
Yeah, it scared the crap out of me.
I remember we rented that game. Me and my buddy Josh rented that game, and he didn't have memory stick for his PlayStation at the time, so we basically just raw dogged that game for like 18 hours, like trying to beat it because we couldn't save. We didn't have a memory stick, so we had to play it from beginning to end in one shot.
First world retro gaming problems.
And my number one game is Legend of Zelda, everybody. Now, if it wasn't for Legend of Zelda, we wouldn't have the entire dungeon crawling genre. Now, I know that some people would say, well, hey, wait, we had Gauntlet before we had Legend of Zelda. But yeah, but Legend of Zelda kind of did it better. And, you know, is still going to this day and has spawned countless sequels, has inspired. If it wasn't for Zelda, we wouldn't have Diablo. We wouldn't have Warcraft. We wouldn't have all these games that we had now. Legend of Zelda is still the original NES game. It is still one of the greatest games that's ever been made.
I mean, you're not going to get a single argument out of me from that. I mean, I couldn't have put it any better. When it comes to like even puzzle solving to a degree, you got to give Legend of Zelda credit. Like a different type than say like your Tetris or something like that, but it added a cool dynamic to the dungeon crawler that I don't think any other franchise has been able to replicate.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had games that were quote unquote open world, that where you hunted for treasure and stuff. You know, we had Adventure for the Atari 2600. We had Haunted House, games like that kind of had a storyline and an actual end to the game. But Legend of Zelda was something we had never seen before at the time, and I still remember playing it for the first time and just like, you what do you mean I can go wherever I want and do, you know, I can just go wherever. I don't have to move, you know, go from screen to screen or left to right. I can just go up or down, or, oh, I can go in this cave over here. Oh, what's this crack in the wall over here? Like, there's so much to do and find out in that game. I spent an entire summer playing that game when I was a kid.
And you could save.
Yeah, you could save it. I mean, we had the technology.
That's enough to put it number one.
Exactly. So that's my list for the top 5 games that revolutionized gaming.
That's a great list. I have zero problem with it. That was really, really good. So moving into my list, much like Jason, I have 5 honorable mentions. Could have been 5 to 10 more, but
yeah,
had to whittle it down. It's going to be a little different, but I'll explain why as we progress. Starting with my honorable mentions. Legend of Zelda. It might shock you that it's not in my actual list.
I know,
but we'll get to why. Just for the reasons that Jason said, it revolutionized a genre. It's still going to this day. You can see influences in not just dungeon crawlers, but in storytelling with other games. I think were influenced by Zelda, and it just took that simple Joseph Campbell journey of the hero and put it on the map. And yet, Legend of Zelda is one of the greatest games ever made. Mm-hmm. Again, Super Mario Brothers, Again, for the same reason that Jason said, it's probably the most iconic video game of all time. The industry would not be anywhere near what it is without the success of Super Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day, 40 years later, you ask somebody who's the most recognizable video game character, it's Mario.
Yep.
It's not anyone else. I love Master Chief. I even love Sonic the Hedgehog, but they are not as recognizable as Mario.
I think he's more recognizable than Mickey Mouse at this point.
I like to think so. He's definitely up there in that like Mickey Mouse, Superman.
Mm.
Like even if you don't really know anything about their background and their universe, you know who the character is. Next up is Tetris. I have talked about my love for Tetris numerous times. One of the greatest puzzle games ever made. And when it comes to games that, you just only have like 5, maybe 10 minutes to play something, that was kind of started with Tetris. And Pac-Man is in that same category. And that's my next honorable mention is Pac-Man. You hit the nail on the head mentioning the introduction of the mascot, of someone that you can associate with instead of just a spaceship in Space Invaders or a rectangle in Pong. This was actually someone that you know or something you know. And my last honorable mention, I had to put this, this probably would have been number 6, is Mortal Kombat. Now, Street Fighter might be more recognizable, but I think when you throw fighting games in there, you have to throw in Mortal Kombat because it was something more mature that the gaming industry, I think, needed. Like there are other, I'll say more adult or more graphic type games, but when you think of like bloody action, you think of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
One of the best arcade games of all time. It was moved to consoles, pun intended, flawlessly. So I think you've got to put Mortal Kombat as far as games that especially revolutionized a genre.
Oh, and one of the things I wanted to say about Tetris too, another thing you could credit Tetris for is it I give it complete credit for how many units of the Game Boy were sold. And if it wasn't for that amount of Game Boys being sold, I don't know if we would have had the handheld gaming that Nintendo had a chokehold on for decades afterwards.
Oh, 100%. Now that is, as they would say in Anchorman, a scientific fact.
Yeah.
So moving into my actual list, number 5 is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, the game that defined a generation of gamers. I followed the development of this game religiously, and just that it took what the original Zelda did for the NES, and it brought it into, at that time, a more modern era. You really felt the immense storytelling and the fact that it spanned from Link being a kid to then transitioning to an adult and seeing how Ganondorf's, empire had taken over. You go from this beautiful land of Hyrule to essentially a wasteland and see how things had been affected in the 7 years you were essentially in stasis. I think a lot of even more modern games that followed Ocarina of Time used it as an influence. You had the targeting system where you could lock on to your enemies and just focus on them. That was unheard of at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And a lot of games took that, but Ocarina of Time to me does it the best.
And still one of the few games that actually still holds up on the N64. I know I might get a lot of hate for that, but the N64 is just such a hard console to go back to.
You're right in the sense that the graphics may not be the greatest, and yeah, they don't hold up as well, but the story still does.
Oh yeah,
And I'll take a good story over incredible graphics any day of the week.
100%.
Number 4 is Doom. Now, I have never been a huge Doom fan, but if there would be no GoldenEye and there would be no Halo if it wasn't for Doom. Doom put first person shooters on the map
Oh yeah.
and also made one of the worst movie adaptations ever made, but comically so.
Yeah. We might
I
actually have
remember.
to do a commentary track for that.
Oh, I would have so much fun.
Okay, that
I'd
that
have so
movie's
much
so
fun with that.
terrible.
We would earn the red E on Apple Podcasts because I would be unfiltered for that. It is such a bad movie. But yeah, the first person shooter would not be a thing if not for Doom. You could make the argument too for GoldenEye because it showed that first person shooters can work on a console. Because if you think about it, most first person shooters were on PC. They
Yeah.
weren't really known for
Yeah.
consoles in the early 90s.
I would kind of throw Wolfenstein in there too with Doom because
Yeah.
they kind of came out around the same time. And Wolfenstein, I don't know if I ever told this story, but back when I was in high school, I was in a computer class, and my teacher had this, those little Rolodexes things for the floppy disks. Um,
Mhm.
And if we got done with all of our work, then for the rest of the period, we could go grab a game. So me and my friends would be like hurry up and try to get our stuff done so we could be the first one to get up there because there was a copy of Doom and Wolfenstein. So we would always try to beat each other like at whoever got done with their schoolwork first could go and actually play a game. I used to go in there on my off periods too, just so I could play Doom or Wolfenstein.
If you have to choose between Doom and Wolfenstein, that's like choosing between a good piece of cake or a good piece of pie.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be great either way.
Oh yeah.
So that's awesome. Number 3 is Super Mario 64, much for the same reasons that you mentioned earlier. 3D, the transition from 2D to 3D would not have worked the same if not for Mario 64.
Yeah.
You could feel the jump from like Super Mario World, which is in its own right one of the greatest games ever made. But that transition to being like in Peach's castle and seeing it in full 3D, going through the paintings, being able to do like all the flips and somersaults that Mario does, it started with Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
So you could put this number 1 on your list and I wouldn't dispute it. Number 2 is Pong. And I say that because Pong was arguably the first video game to really appeal to the masses.
Yeah.
It is so simple. It is 2 rectangles bouncing a ball back and forth.
I still occasionally come across Pong machines at thrift stores. Like
I believe it.
They were everywhere in the 70s.
Yeah, and there's probably some people that have never even heard of Pong. And yeah, I'm not the biggest Pong fan.
I agree.
But this is one of those that I took the emotion out of it because I don't think video games would have been an appeal to like the general public if not for a game like Pong.
Yeah, Pong made video games in the home viable.
Yes. Which leads me to my number 1, which I will fight anyone in saying that it's the most important video game ever made. And it is Donkey Kong for the arcade. Because it introduced a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It introduced the character of Mario, who was known as Jumpman at the time. It introduced platforming because you had to jump over the barrels, you had to jump over the fireballs. Is it the greatest game ever made? Absolutely not. It's very short and gets kind of repetitive and boring, honestly. But Super Mario Brothers would not exist if not for Donkey Kong. I don't think Nintendo would even be what it is if not for Donkey Kong.
And I don't know if this is a little known fact or not, but this actually started out as a Popeye game, but then
You're
they
right.
lost the license, and they actually got sued by Universal because it was too close to King Kong. But that was when Universal realized that nobody renewed the trademark on King Kong, so they were like, "Oh crap, maybe we should probably do that." But Nintendo won out, and their lawyer was named Kirby, so that's where that came from.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny how things turn out like that. But yeah, I will. There's a really good documentary that was done years ago called "A Fistful of Quarters"
Yes.
about Donkey Kong and its appeal to the mainstream.
Yeah, King of Kong was good too.
Yeah, that's a good one too. But yeah, to me, Donkey Kong, when it comes to games that revolutionize gaming, it's number one for those reasons I listed.
Awesome.
The industry, the games would not, the video game business would not be as successful if not for Donkey Kong. If Super Mario Brothers is like the tree, or say like the giant plant, Donkey Kong is the seed that the plant or tree grew from.
And see, I didn't even think about Donkey Kong when it came to my list. I thought about more stuff like Pitfall, things like that, because it kind of brought the side-scrolling, platformer. But I don't know why Donkey Kong just didn't even occur to me.
But and there's nothing wrong with your list. Like, it's a completely subjective discussion. There are a ton of games that revolutionize gaming.
But you're 100% right. If it wasn't for Donkey Kong, we wouldn't even have Mario. So Donkey Kong might be the most important video game of all time.
To me, it is. Not saying that others aren't important, but I just feel like gaming wouldn't be nearly as successful if not for Donkey Kong.
Well, that was a fantastic list. This was a fun one.
No, appreciate it. Yeah, no, this was really good. I've been looking forward to doing this list more than any of the other ones in a while. That's why I was annoyed that my internet went out, because I'm like, I really want to talk about this list.
But before we go into your list, we have some Patreon shout-outs.
As always, we'd like to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. Of course, a huge shout out to our super producers, Staff Sergeant Sketch, Carlos Longoria, aka I Am the Rampage, Nick W, and Daniel Salmon, aka Bethany Fox, our amazing Discord community manager. We also want to shout out Eric Gonzalez, Jam the Ottoman, aka Siren11590, Zachary Herring, Eek7674, Omnislick, Alex the Alley Cat, Justin Nispel, Riley, the official NCR fact checker, Mr. Wally Phelps, Eldit the Zombie, Yup Fed, aka Knife, Raven, Mr. B-Res Coffee himself, Mike Eveland, Axeblade07, the official NCR beat writer, Mr. Armez Jackson, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, and a man known not only in the gaming community or the pro wrestling business, but all around the world. He is known in the Pacific Northwest as Joey Sasquatch, known on the financial district of Wall Street as Richard. In the exotic dance world, he is known as Yvonne.
Oh, and I just added this one that he added the other day, too, from the
known breaking news, also known on the Western frontier as Jeremiah. In the fighting city of Philadelphia, he is known as Marco Sandwich. On the West Coast, he is simply known as Ellis. He is the American Salad, Venus, the golf instructor, a man who knows his potato, the dream chaser. He is a violinist. He is a pianist and overall an enjoyer of music. Being accompanied by his manager, the esteemed Sir Marcus Vontavious Alabama Chicken, the undisputed Nerd Cave Retro Heavyweight Champion of the World, Joey Image. Joey. And last but not least,
Mama Diamond.
Donna Diamond. Thank you all so much for your continued contributions and keeping the lights on for us here at the Nerd Cave Retro Podcast. We say it every week, but you know what? We're going to say it just one more time, and one more time after that, and again and again. For as little as $1 a month, you get a couple of cool perks. You get your own custom RSS feed with 0 ads. If you want to listen to this show completely uninterrupted with ads, it just costs you $1 a month. And you get early access to our bonus episodes, which include commentary tracks for cartoons like Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles, live-action movies, roundtable discussions, and this month we had the return of Nerd Cave Retro Quest, and it was so much fun to do.
I just released part 2 onto the Patreon just yesterday. So if you want to hear the power of Petrus part 2, where'd my religion go? Go check it out over on the Patreon right now.
You're probably asking yourself, what does that mean?
You have to listen.
You gotta subscribe to the Patreon to find out. But yeah, if you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, just head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, be sure to send us your social media info so we can give you a proper shout out.
And I don't really have a theme for the top 5, so I'm just going to throw this one in there for your top 5 lists. So first, we have from Facebook, we have Brian C., who says Super Mario Brothers revived home consoles. Street Fighter 2, no Mortal Kombat or other popular fighting games without the success of Street Fighter 2. Yes, I totally agree. Wii Sports broadened the console market audience. You still see Wiis for sale on Marketplace owned by grandmas who bought it to exercise.
You can make the argument that Wii Sports is the best pack-in game of all time.
Wii Fit is it. Metal Gear Solid. It was the first game that gave you a true cinematic immersive experience. Countless other full-motion video games before this have tried and failed. Metal Gear Solid was the innovator. Final Fantasy VII successfully opened up the RPG market to the U.S. mainstream audience. It was a very highly niche market, but after Final Fantasy VII, it exposed the mass audience to the epic adventures of that RPGs provide in regards to scale, mechanics, storytelling, side quests, and branching stories, and combined them with the bleeding edge of graphics, sound, and presentation. It inspired the new audience to seek out older RPG classics they missed out on, and remasters and re-releases of RPG classics still happen with each console generation. I mean, it's true. Even though we're not the biggest Final Fantasy fans, Final Fantasy VII was a game changer.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's up there, too, on the list of most important games ever made.
Oh, yeah.
For the reasons that Brian listed. Next up is Wally Phelps, the official fact checker and dungeon master of Nerd Cave Retro Quest. Pong brought games to a mass audience. No disagreement there. Mario 64 brought mainstream games into 3 dimensions. Doom popularized the first-person shooter in player versus player. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas showed what open-world games can be. I almost put GTA 3 on my list for that very reason. And Fortnite showed crossover appeal and, unfortunately, how successful the FOMO model can be.
True.
They do some insane crossovers with Fortnite. It is... I don't know how they pull it off, but they should teach classes on how to acquire licensing.
I would hate to be one of their people that has to keep up with all the licenses that they have. That's got to be a nightmare job.
However much money they make, it should be more.
And up next, we have Mark Simmons, a.k.a. Mushmouth TB, who is in the chat room and says, dang it, I'm late. You're not late.
Showed up just in time.
We started late. Five games that changed the industry. Super Mario 64. This game nailed what 3D gameplay should be, and it did effortlessly. Endlessly replayable, charming, and fun. The execution of the movement mechanics alone, just the way Mario jumps, spins, and runs, and slides, is so masterful. It is a perfect translation of his 2D games into 3D, while dropping everything that wouldn't work and embracing all the new things that it did. It holds up perfectly. Final Fantasy VI. I feel like a lot of people are going to say Final Fantasy VII, and I get it. What it did for 3D JRPG gaming is phenomenal. However, redundant though it may seem to say, you don't get Final Fantasy VII without Final Fantasy VI. You could possibly play 1 through 5 in any order, and they could all be interchangeable, but 6 is the triumph that builds triumph. Everything that makes Final Fantasy good is in 1 through 5, but everything that makes it great is right here. It's a cut above any way you slice it. The narrative, pixel art, game design, music, it's all brilliant. The creative teams behind these games hit their stride, and then boom, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, all groundbreaking games. It starts with 6.
I like it.
Yeah. GTA 3. Listen, man, I own GTA 2 on the PS1. It was fun. It was fine. When GTA 3 came out, I was like 10 years old. The first thing I ever heard about it was a spot on the news about how it was so violent that it allowed you to pick up hookers, shoot them, and steal their money. This piqued my interest. Looking back, I think Mushmouth might be a psychopath. Looking back,
I wasn't going to say anything, but
looking back, I realized how influential it was. The 3D open world, the driving mechanics, the absolute chaos. It was genuinely good, despite being mostly marketed by its infamy. It hit at the perfect time. We were in a few years off of the previous Mortal Kombat-based gaming violence controversy, and the media was wet at the maw for something new to yell at video games about. And GTA 3 gave them something to bite into. It hasn't aged perfectly, but I've always got time to pick up a hooker, shooter, steal her money, and when I'm done doing that, I go home and play GTA 3. God bless America. God.
I can't follow that.
Next, Skyrim. I'm more of an Oblivion fan, but this was the game the culture took to. It introduced an entire generation to open world gaming. It introduced real-time dragon encounters, and it was cool as hell. We can argue all day about whether or not Morrowind or Daggerfall brought the franchise into ultra-realism, or whether or not Oblivion perfected it. It did. But Skyrim is where the public started to care. I mean, Skyrim's where I started. That game hooked me badly for a while.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything he said. You know, like we know the earlier Elder Scrolls games, but Skyrim's the one everybody knows.
Yeah. And he says in the chat room, I'm insanely proud of that GTA 3 bit. You should be, sir. That was funny. And his last one is Halo. This game did the hardest possible thing. It firmly established a brand new console in the middle of the Sony Nintendo dominance era. In time, and more than partially by way of Nintendo's goofy actions, the Xbox would become Sony's main competitor in the console wars. It is the prime early example of a cinematic shooter. This was the game that launched that entire Xbox era and inspired a million clones. And that's true. If it wasn't for Halo, I don't think the Xbox would have taken off like it did.
Oh, absolutely not. No, Halo, even from the first trailer, you knew this was going to be different. And it was a game worth getting a console for.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next up, we have from Armez Jackson, the official beat writer of NCR. My honorable mentions were tough. I tried to keep my nostalgia in check, but it was tough. Narrowed it to just 5. Street Fighter 2 for the arcade. Pac-Man, also for arcade. Kung Fu Master, also for arcade. GTA 3 for Xbox and PS2. And his last honorable mention is World of Warcraft. I got no issue with any of those on his honorable mentions. Now, on to my top five. Number five, Halo. What can I say? This game may not have been the first multiplayer first person shooter, but it definitely changed the way they were made afterwards. Tight controls, awesome graphics and music, engaging characters and storyline, and let's not forget the LAN parties.
Yeah.
Even though I prefer Halo 2 over the original, Halo Combat Evolved cannot be denied. I 100% agree with that. Halo 2 is a better game, but it wouldn't exist if not for Halo 1. Number four, Tetris. From the early Commodore 64, MS-DOS versions all the way to today, this game has changed people. With each passing iteration, the quality of life upgrades have not diminished its playability or its base essence. I personally love Tetris DS. If you've never played it, I highly recommend. Nintendo put out something special with that one. I would suggest a game review if possible. I've never played Tetris DS, and I do still have my DS system. So I may have to look for a copy of this.
Yeah, that would definitely have to have to be you because I don't own any of the old handhelds. Not even my old Game Boy. I don't even know where it ended up.
I know the NES version of Tetris is good, but I will always fall back to the original Game Boy version as my favorite. Number three, SimCity. This is a good choice. I played this on so many platforms: DOS, Mac, Commodore 64, Atari, Super Nintendo, even the Palm Pilot. And each had their own little tweak. The stupidest scream the monster makes on the Mac version, you should YouTube that one. It's ridiculous. This game was mine and my wife's entire life for 5 years running. Number two, Doom for PC. I know Wolfenstein 3D came out first and it was good, but Doom had a life all its own. When you say everyone played Doom, you mean exactly that. Everyone. The cheats, the mods, God mode, the edgy music, the various enemy creatures, the weapons, a freaking chainsaw. Yeah. We all love this game. And number one, The Legend of Zelda. I was a big fan of Adventure for the 2600 and Dungeons of Dagorith for the Tandy TRS-80, but Legend of Zelda was just such a huge leap from that foundation. Kids at school would swap tips at recess or on the bus ride home. We would make overworld and underworld maps. Weekend sleepovers when nobody actually slept. And then you get a second quest where everything is different. It blew our minds. I still play this at least once a year. I forgot to even mention the second quest.
Yeah, exactly.
That was unheard of too at that time. You get a whole new game where the dungeons are laid out differently.
Yeah. Nobody was doing that at the time, ever.
No.
I can't.
No.
You mentioned the Tandy TRS-80. God, Tandy is something I haven't thought about in decades.
That's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Let's hop over to the Discord. And up first, we have Nick W. Said games that changed the industry. Honorable mentions: Resident Evil helped make survival horror popular. Exactly. Dragon Quest. This was the start of turn-based RPGs on consoles. Pokemon Red and Blue. That would be your area of expertise there, Derek.
Yeah, no, because I can't really. I know there are other games that are similar to Pokemon, but you could really make the argument that Pokemon is the second most successful Nintendo property.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to money, besides Mario.
Resident Evil 4, the over-the-shoulder camera reinvented survival horror. Now, I know I did a Resident Evil 4 review, the remake review, not too long ago. I do have the original also on my Xbox, so I need to do a review of the original Resident Evil 4. And GoldenEye, even though it has aged like milk, this game helped revolutionize first-person shooter games on consoles. And Half-Life 2, I forgot about Half-Life 2. It was one of the first games to have physics-based puzzles. And if it wasn't for Half-Life 2, we wouldn't have gotten, Portal. The Portal games. Those games are great. And his actual top 5 list. At number 5, Metal Gear Solid helped make gaming more mature in terms of their storytelling. Number 4, Castlevania Symphony of the Night created a genre which we called Metroidvania. That's another one I should have put on my list along with Super Metroid, but I had to remove so much stuff. But yes, that's 100% true. Between Symphony of the Night and Super Metroid, those two games made an entire genre. Just those two games.
You can't have Metroidvania without the Vania.
Exactly. Number 3, Super Mario 64 was the first 3D platformer with a camera you could control. Number 2.
And still holds up, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Number 2, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The first game ever. First game to have ever a lock-on system, which is still used by games to this day. Even the Dark Souls games use some form of the Z targeting. And you had mentioned that too. I didn't even think about that type of thing until both of you mentioned that. And his number 1 is Super Mario 1, up there with Legend of Zelda.
Next up, we have Fury, his top 5 games that revolutionized the industry. Doom, first major FPS game that launched the rest of the genre. Super Mario Brothers, enough said. Minecraft, huge open world survival game that allowed people to show off their creativity. I've never really been big into Minecraft.
Me neither.
But he does bring up a good point. It is when you think of games that you can just build stuff.
Yeah.
Like you had SimCity, but Minecraft really brought that genre out.
Yeah, it took it to a whole nother level. Like it took it to the stratosphere.
Grand Theft Auto 3, while the first 2 games were tons of top-down fun, wreaking havoc in 3D was incredible. And Warcraft, the first big RTS game that spawned amazing rival series Command and Conquer. Without Warcraft, the MOBA genre wouldn't even exist.
It's true.
Yep.
And up next, we have our good friend Brandon Rutledge, the Emerald Coast Fact Checker. Most of my honorable mentions is set by which genre each game revolutionized. His honorable mentions by genre: GoldenEye 007 for multiplayer first-person shooters, Street Fighter II The World Warrior for fighting games, Halo Combat Evolved for online multiplayer first-person shooter, Resident Evil for survival horror, and then World of Warcraft for MMORPGs. Other honorable mentions: Final Fantasy 1 and 7. 1 brought high attention of the JRPG genre to the West, and 7 skyrocketed its popularity. Star Fox Super FX chip gave one of our first experiences of home console gaming on a 3D plane. I didn't even think about Star Fox.
I didn't either.
Wii Sports, great pack-in game for the Wii to show off the amazing motion controls. This made gaming more interactive and accessible for non-gamers. And now on to his actual top 5. Number 5, Minecraft, best-selling game of all time. It goes above and beyond in open-world gaming. It is easily the most influential in terms of expressing creativity. Both my wife and my son love it. Number 4, Super Smash Brothers. This is the reason why crossovers in gaming is such a popular concept, especially in fighting games. We are always speculating, guess characters, and enjoy the odd or amazing choices. Most recently with Tifa from Final Fantasy VII announced for Street Fighter VI. Yeah, I just heard about that the other day. That's kind of cool.
I didn't even think of Super Smash Brothers.
I didn't either.
But yeah, he's right though.
Number 3, Super Mario 64. Not only did this revolutionize 3D platformers, but the ability for long-running franchises to transition from 2D to 3D. And Joey says, I thought Minecraft was free. I don't know. I don't think Minecraft is free. Because
I'm not sure.
Nick W says Minecraft is hot garbage. Tell us how you really feel, Nick.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I agree with Fury, too. He said, I don't even like Minecraft, but it has to make my list because it also spawned all these survival games that are coming out. That too. Like, I forgot all about, like, the actual survival game that Minecraft is.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Mortal Kombat. Didn't revolutionize the fighting game genre, but served awareness and content via ESRB. As a parent myself, I do want to be aware of what to expect in each game, meaning I need to hide some of my games from my 6-year-old, LOL. Number 1, Super Mario Brothers. This didn't just revolutionize the gaming industry, but resurrected it. It took the 1983 crash and turned it into gourmet chicken salad. We should all be thankful for this piece of history. Agree 100%.
Absolutely. And to round us out, our last list is from Omnislick. He says, top 5, not sure if I am too late, been really busy lately, but really pumped for the episode. Thank you, Omnislick. Yeah, he sent this in about an hour ago, so he got it in on time. His honorable mention is the original Super Mario Brothers. Still playable and pretty cool. Even today, you can destroy the environment and run on top of levels. Amazing what they were able to do for the time. Number 5, The Last of Us. Incredible storytelling. Another game that took video game storytelling to another level.
Yep.
It's also one of the most heartbreaking and gut-wrenching stories ever.
Yeah.
But the especially the first Last of Us is incredible.
If you want to play a great game and be horribly depressed at the end of it, play Last of Us.
Just have like SpongeBob or South Park on standby so you can watch something or Family Guy, or you can just shut your brain off. Number 4, Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation. The cinematic storytelling not found in any other game that I have ever played before it. It felt like playing a movie. Remember needing to use the second controller to defeat a boss? I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, I did too.
I never played Metal Gear Solid, but I remember reading about that in multiple times. Number 3, Final Fantasy VII, 4 discs. I forgot how big this game was. FMV videos, amazing storytelling that felt so epic at the time. Number 2, Street Fighter 2. So much fun competing with friends and still so playable. Still remember the first time I saw kids lining up to play it at my local pizzeria. I don't know if we've ever really discussed it, but I'm kind of excited about the Street Fighter movie coming out in a couple of months.
Yeah, me too. It's not something I'm super interested in, but every time I see a trailer, I'm like, "Ooh, I want to go see that."
And I love that it takes place in 1993.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited, and it's got a great cast too. And his number 1 is Wolfenstein 3D, a game that let you kill Nazis and one that I could run on my crappy home computer with a 15-inch monitor that took up half the desk. Great times, especially the final boss that follows you around.
And Joey, Joey in the chat room didn't get us a list, but he did say that he votes for Shenmue for full open world gaming. He loves the Shenmue game.
Absolutely, yeah, he does. Yeah, and Mushmouth says 50 Cent as Balrog is wild, and the whole cast looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have my favorite though is Cody Rhodes as Guile. Like he's even got the same hairstyle, and like it's so cool.
They're going super silly with it, and that's exactly what you want from a Street Fighter movie.
Who knew that you could just like take the source material and the tone of a video game and make it into a movie and it'll work?
Yeah. And I mean,
it's like they should have tried that years ago.
I should have put Street Fighter 2 on my list because it's such a good, perfect game that they're still using it for tournaments to this day. 33 years later, or however long it's been. Insane.
Something like that, yeah.
Crazy. But that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you all for the list. Those lists were great, everybody.
Yeah,
this was
they were really, really good.
This was a really good top 5 to do. I had a lot of fun doing this one.
Yeah, and I do want to say sorry again for the delays, but thankfully we were able to record this because this was really fun.
But coming up next week, we already talked about it. Derek's going to be doing what?
Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo. Yes. One of the greatest games of all time.
Can't wait for that. And then the week after that, I will be reviewing Zen Intergalactic Ninja. So go check out some videos on those, or go play them if you have them, everybody. So, Derek, anything you want to throw out there before we leave this evening?
No, I don't think so. If you just want to give me a follow on Instagram and Threads, you can find me at Derek D. Diamond. And also, happy belated 35th anniversary to Sonic the Hedgehog. That was yesterday. And yesterday was also the 30-year anniversary of the iconic Austin 316 promo that launched the WWF into the Attitude Era.
Thanks for making me feel old there, Derek.
Hey, I did it to myself. So misery loves company.
But just go follow me pretty much everywhere at jfunktastic. Pretty much everywhere. I'm mostly active on Threads and our Discord, and I upload our videos to my YouTube channel. So go follow me over there at jfunktastic. Made it as simple as possible. Also, too, I got us a link for. I'm trying to make a little extra money here on the show. So if you want to, if you're thinking about doing a Shopify shop or say anything like that, I have a link up on our link tree. Just go click the button and you create a Shopify shop, and we get credit for it. And when you do that, we get paid. So if you want to help us make some money here on the show, go do that.
Yeah.
So anything else before we leave tonight?
I think that's it.
All right, let me play our music here. If you want to email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. Guess what? You can leave us a voice message. You go to voicecast.app/NCR, and you don't have to sign up for anything. You just go there, leave a message, and that's it. They won't be bugging you or make you put in your email or none of that stuff. Go to nerdcaveretro.com. That's our link tree. That includes everything. That's our social media buttons, our Patreon button, voicemail button, and of course the merch shop, which is at ncrmerch.com. We got all kind of designs for t-shirts, hats, stickers, magnets, bags, mugs, whatever your nerdy heart desires. And if you can't do that, I understand. Times are tough. If you don't have any money, you know what's free? Leaving us a review and or a 5-star rating on all podcasting platforms. So Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
Yes.
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
And that's an episode, everybody.
Sweet. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a great
was really
episode.
good.
That was fun.
It was.
And let me throw this little subscribe thing up there, so if anybody's watching, they'll remember to smash that like and subscribe button there for the YouTube. But thank you all for hanging out. That was a great, lively chat room tonight. It had Joey and Mushmouth and Armez Jackson was in there, and Nick and Fury and all you guys hanging out. Omni Slick
Who's
was
who
in
of
there.
the chat.
Yeah, it was a who's who. Maybe we should move to Wednesdays. I don't know. We had a lot of people in here tonight.
Yeah.
But thank you all for hanging out with us. Let me play our little outro thing here. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back on Monday. Same bad time, same bad channel.